Welcome back to another Canadian Immigration Live Q&A. I'm your host, Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, back sharing more information on Canadian immigration. As always, I want to extend a special welcome to everybody that's tuning in from Facebook, those who are over on Twitter, if you are actually following, we'll see, and of course, the largest following that's always on YouTube. And the more I use YouTube, the more I love YouTube. Because I'll tell you something, I went live in my own private Express Entry Law Facebook group, okay? And this is why you guys who are watching this in the Facebook group, this is why you don't see me there very often. I went live in that group, and what happened? There were like 2 people watching live. Whereas here, I can have up to 1,200 people watching, and so it's great. So connect in. While we're waiting for people to tune in, put where you're from. I'd love to hear where everybody's connecting from, and this is kind of an ongoing thing that we do with this. Today, we'll touch just briefly on our new PM. I did a video, our new minister, and Sean Fraser, and then we'll dive right into questions, because this is all about questions. You'll see now that I'm doing immigration news updates, posting those updates. I will cover the information in the beginning so that I can spend more time answering questions, but don't post your questions yet. We will get to those in just a bit. All right, guys, like I said, this is, well, there's change in the air, isn't there? And if you go back to my YouTube channel, you'll see that I have a new video that I just launched yesterday, the moment that all of the, well, what do you call it? The Prime Minister had taken care of all the formalities of swearing in his new cabinet. And you can find all of that if I flip over here. Let's see if you guys can still see me. Oh, I'm always having to adjust this. There's nothing like doing things on the fly, is there? Let's get me there. You guys can see me better. Okay, right here on the YouTube channel, you'll see that I did a video right here, breaking news, Canada's new immigration minister. We covered a little bit of background on him. There'll be lots more to come as we get to know him within the Canadian Bar Association. I know that we'll have a chance to connect with him as well. And yeah, I'm excited. And I'm really also happy for Minister Mendicino, who's going to slide over to public safety. And he will really be well suited for that role as well. So those of you who are posting questions, hold off on those questions. We will get to those, but once I give you the green light, then we can start posting them. This is Q&A time, right? So, and I guess I better just shift over and point over a couple things before we get to the questions as well, just for those who are new to this, who didn't see the video that I did. Sean Fraser, right here, he is the Member of Parliament for Central Nova. So that is in kind of, I'd say about 2/3 of the way up eastern part of Nova Scotia, Antigonish area. And this is a great development for the Atlantic provinces to have someone, a homegrown Atlantic Canada MP, now serve as our immigration minister. Traditionally, they've always been in the core areas. Mr. Kenny was in Calgary. We had a bunch of, there was, I'm trying to remember all the MPs now. Sorry, all the ministers now, but whatever, you guys figure it out. And we had John McCallum, but everybody, they're always in the major centers, right? So it's great to have someone who's outside, new ideas, fresh ideas, who can represent the entirety of the country. So big, happy for Sean Fraser in this new position as MP. And I think there's very positive and good things to come. Now, What is he going to do? What does the Prime Minister want him to do? That we don't know yet. And unless someone has seen some magical letters, I keep going back to the mandate letters right here. And the Prime Minister will send these out. And I'll just pull this over a little bit so that it stays on the screen here. These mandate letters are from the Prime Minister that give instructions to the new ministers on what their priorities are over the course of their tenure. And so you can see here that the archived mandate letters are here, but when I reload this, we still do not have the new ones. So apparently they're forthcoming. So wait to see exactly what the main focuses are as directed by the Prime Minister to Minister Sean Fraser. And yeah, that's the new world that we're in. How is it going to impact on your processing? Don't know. Is this going to change much? Probably not in terms of those who've already got their applications processing, but in terms of new programs, now Minister Fraser will be driving that ship. Okay, good to see you guys. Hello, Rocky. Good to see you. We've got Icom is over in PEI. He's not far from you. He's not far from you at all. Let's see here. We've got Persona Sunny from Malta. Iman's over in Windsor. Oh, great. Raphael's tuning in from Saudi Arabia. And we've got Faisal is over in Iraq. Hello, Faisal. We've got Oyakola is in Toronto, and Syed's also in Toronto. Naluka is in Sri Lanka, Colombo. Hello, Naluka. Good to have you joining us. And Nessa, hello. She says, how's life in Lethbridge? We're considering moving there. No way. Oh, that is so cool. That is awesome. I keep telling everybody that on your application forms, you should be indicating that you are planning on moving to Lethbridge. This is the place. Awesome. It's so, so cool. That's fun to hear, Nessa. And I remember a while back, I can't remember which live session I was doing, where Nessa, who's an alumnus from my Canadian Immigration Institute, the courses that I offer there. I think you did both, didn't you, Nessa? The TR to PR pathway, which is still open for a few more days. So click on the link and check that out. There's the Express Entry step-by-step course, which I just finished last week, which was awesome. But someone made this comment because Nessa went on and said, hey, the courses are awesome. They help me and my family so much. I'm so grateful. And then someone said, oh, it's just another plant from Mark. And so, and you can see the thumbs down sometimes. And I can't tell if the thumbs down is just someone who's just frustrated with immigration generally and anything about immigration makes them mad, which is probably the case, or whether there's someone that I somehow blocked or kicked out of something else because they were mining for work or they were an illegal agent or I don't know, or just someone who just is a hater and it just wants to provide negative, comments on everything just because they're a loser. So anyways, but there's no doubt about it that those negative comments, they create social proofing for me. So they confirm that yes, indeed, people are watching this. People, not just people, that I'm trying to bait into giving me a thumbs up. But I will tell you guys, let's see if I can pull this up here. Let's see, not that one. Is it that one? No, not that one. Is it here? Oh, I can't remember. Igor had done something really cool for me and now I can't find it. That's okay. I will have to, I'll have to find it another time. Anyways, I've got these little overlays that I do and I was going to have one that said subscribe now. And, man, I'm really irritated that I can't find that one because I know that Igor had, oh, there we go. Okay. Right here. See? So smash the thumbs up button and subscribe. I knew it was here somewhere. Oh, not that one. Oh, there we go. Now we're back together. Sorry, guys. Oh, this is rough and tumble. It's all about fun. This isn't some pre-scripted thing. I just jump on and start talking, and sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes it's just all over the map. Anyways, we'll wait for the mandate letters. As soon as we get those, then I'll let you know exactly where immigration is headed, at least in terms of the directions the Prime Minister of Canada is giving to our new Minister, Sean Fraser. Okay. Oh, Omar's in Somalia. Good to have you connecting in from all the way over there. Lori's over in Winnipeg, which is where I went to law school. So fond memories from there. John is in India. And we've got Murgesh from Hamilton. Jasmeet's over in India. Thanks so much, you guys. And, you know, I think we're really, really hoping that things are going to open up and we're going to start to see many draws. People I know are going to be asking questions about this. At this stage, I truly don't expect to see open draws until the new year. That appears to be the trend that we're headed. Are we going to have another CEC draw? I'm not sure. All I know is that they are processing applications, as you've seen in the previous videos that I did, and these immigration news updates that I'm doing are here. You know, TR to PR pathway may expand. There's a bunch of these news updates that I'm sharing, and I probably need to do a better job of how I word this, because you pretty much have to click right on over top of it. Like this one, for instance, FSW Outland PR is now issued. Oh, I'm not a YouTube specialist. I don't know half the time what makes you guys want to click on stuff that I post or not. I don't know. Anyways, good news. Okay, Facebook user, this person is actually watching in the Express Entry Law private Facebook group. And the reason we can't see them is because they have to authorize eCam to show their profile. So if you go in there, you can do that. And then it will allow the software I use, eCam, to actually show who you are, like Day here, who's over in Baroda, India. So welcome, you guys. Mohammed's in the UK. Pargeet's in Halifax. And yes, Ankit is still in Delhi, waiting to land for a long time. I know. You are close, my friend. You know, the one I did the video on was an AOR back in December of 2019 as well. So yeah, my heart goes out to you guys. Sunday, good to see you connecting in from Nigeria. Awesome to have you here. And Joe is over in Arizona. Oh, Joe, what is that? He says, I got some good news in my portal this morning, sent an email with details. What is that, Joe? What is that? Let's just see here. And you can see these are individuals, obviously, that I've had an opportunity to connect with. And, okay, we'll have to search that up and just see what you're sending to me, my friend. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll have to search through the emails to find it, but I'm assuming it's the news that many people are waiting for. So congratulations, my friend, if that is the case. All right. Yep. Okay. And Raphael from Nigeria, good to see you. We'll get to questions a little bit later. Dong's over in PEI. And remember, the questions we're holding off for now, and then I'll give you the green light. So if I skip through your question, that's why. Okay. Well, Ankit says, hopefully the new minister is more compassionate and communicates better. Yes. And remember that to a large extent, the department, when it comes to communication, they're often the ones that are making these decisions. And it doesn't always flow to the minister to make decisions on every minutia, including how they communicate. But obviously the minister drives the ship. It rests on his shoulders. So I'm hoping as well that that Minister Fraser will step up and correct the terrible things that are going on in terms of how IRCC is communicating with all of you. Okay, we've got Javon is in Jamaica, Yoon is in Edmonton, and Amir's over in Turkey. We've got a ton of people here that are connecting in, and I really appreciate that. Naluka's is in Sri Lanka, Anita's in India. We've got someone from Albania here, the client one. Sai is over in Mississauga. Carlos, good evening to you. Simon's in the US. Ismail is over in Montreal. Hello. Amar, you can see right here, he is over in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So close, right? The riding is a little bit north where our minister's from, but yes, exciting. And, you know, we'll see what happens. Obviously the Atlantic immigration pilot is not going anywhere anytime soon, but that was happening even before the minister came in. But it'll be interesting to see what the perspectives are. Cheyenne, we talked about this a little bit, the TR to PR pathway. I'm not going to get pulled in quite yet to questions, but we'll get to that. Carlos is the UAE. Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here. We've got Shushant is in India. And let's see, from Dubai, Farbsad is from Dubai. Jeevan's over in Qatar. Hello, Jeevan. Thanks for connecting in. We've got Guy who's over in Indonesia. Hey, that's new. I haven't had anyone from Indonesia for a while. Let's see what else we have here. Anam, big shout out to you. And those that are posting questions, hang tight. Thesura, once again, good to have you, my friend. The sir is a longtime follower, an alumnus of the Canadian Immigration Institute. I think I'm going to create some merch. I think I'm going to create some shirts that say alumni Canadian Immigration Institute, or, you know, I graduated from the Canadian Immigration Institute or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. If you think that'd be interesting, give me a thumbs up. And remember, just like Igor said, like and subscribe to this, because apparently if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Because I guess that's what helps it to get noticed. And I can do other cool things when I have more subscribers. So that would be great. Okay, so yes, Shabazz is in Mexico, soon to be in Edmonton. Yes, okay. Let's see what else we have here. We're zipping through. Okay, Khan says, will there be more rejection by CIC since there is change in the immigration leadership? No. That's not going to impact. The decision comes from cabinet, how many people they're going to bring in each year. And they've been under their quotas repeatedly. So I don't see any change, especially not a negative one. I don't see that under this new Minister of Immigration. Okay. We've got Tamil, SA Tamil Radio, excellent, from Muscat, Oman. Awesome. We've got a really, really great group of people here. And Raj, good to have you. And so I wanted to give everybody a shout out. Some of your comments are quite funny here. Venetia, hello from Toronto. Yes, that's right. Thank you for identifying that, Vishvesh. Okay. All right. So let's zip down here. And a lot of people, hi, Mark, there's another live stream scheduled. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, let's flip over here once again to the channel. And I want to show you guys right here. We'll go back to the videos and you'll see the ones that are actually, maybe we'll go to the home here. Yeah. Okay. You can see right here. So this is scheduled for October the 27th. That's the one we're in right now. This one here, you can see, and maybe I'll just refresh my page. There we go. This one here, you guys are not going to want to miss. This one is with Alicia, and we are going to have a special Halloween-themed episode tomorrow at 11 a.m., and it is entitled Misrep. This will scare you. And it's all about misrepresentation. And why am I bringing that up right now? It's because it has been absolutely painful, is the best way to watch how frequently IRCC is using misrepresentation to ruin your lives. I've got a client that I tried to save for 1.5 years, and he was found to have misrepresented. And so we're going to judicially review. We're going to challenge that misrep finding, but they're issuing these 5-year bars for the smallest, slightest things. And it's just cruel and heartless. And that's something I'm definitely going to be bringing forward with Minister Fraser, because there's no need for this draconian approach to misrepresentation, where a person forgets to disclose a visa refusal. But the reality is it has to come. There has to be a change within the act, because the federal court, you guys, by and large, is upholding a lot of these misrepresentation findings. So when us lawyers go to federal court, we challenge the decision. The courts are saying, well, they were asked to provide it. They didn't say that they had a prior visa refusal. We don't care if they disclosed it in something else. Often we're seeing that those they're just not being successful. Now, with reconsideration, there's been some interesting case law on that. And so I will talk about that in some other episodes, but at this stage, it is time now to shift over to questions. So as of now, we will start by opening it up to questions. Make sure you put a Q in front of it. And when you put that Q in front of it, that will tell me that, that this is a question and you're not just talking back and forth. Okay, Star, good to see you. And let's see. So now I've got like 5,000 that have jumped up here. So let's see what we've got. Okay, Spider-Man, what is your name? I know you've told me before. It's so hilarious. That handle is hilarious that you even have it. Okay, I got my work permit in 2021, applied for visa right away. Visa approved and got the passport request in September, sent in the passport right away and haven't got it back till today. Web form sent, should I call IRCC? Okay, well, the question I have for you is, what are the processing times? So Spider-Man, I can't remember exactly where you are, but let's flip over here because I'm all about teaching and you guys should have figured that out by now. So I'm going to pull this down here. Actually, I'm going to pull this bottom up so that what I'm showing you, I know that it's fitting on your screen as much as it is mine. So let's pull this down here. Okay. And so I'm just going to go into here and I'm going to type in IRCC processing times. Okay. And then once you're here, you click on it. And then it depends entirely upon which country you're in. So temporary, then I'm going to go to a work permit from outside Canada, which I'm assuming is the case. And then you have to indicate the country. So let's just say India. May not be you, maybe you, I don't know. But let's say India and check processing times. See how long it's taking? 34 weeks. Like, this is absolutely insane. So I don't know which country you're from, Spider-Man, but understand that the, when it comes to, so you applied for a visa right away, visa approved, and got the passport request in September, sent in the passport right away, and I haven't got it back till today. Okay. So yeah, check the processing times. That's the best thing that I can point out. Okay. Zipping through. Next one is, Arab Shahi. Okay. Syed. That's a long name. Syed Sina Mir Arab Shahi. Okay. Is it normal that I haven't received my GCMS notes after 2 months that I ordered it? Yes, it is. Everything is ground to a halt. Even the responses to the ATIP. I just submitted one for a client today, and yeah, same situation. So it is quite normal for that to happen. Okay. Hello, Mark. Great to see you. I received an AOR for TR to PR. I'm not able to link my application since trying 2 days while asking help via web form work. At this stage, just keep trying. There are issues with the portal. I have a lawyer right now that I'm working with who is a member of the CBA, who has been trying to set up her own representative portal after she changed firms and link a client's application. And there's a glitch, there's a problem. And we have been struggling tremendously to try to get this sorted out because the client's portal is coming to an end. Well, I can't remember what the circumstances are, but they're closing that portal. It might be with another representative, and they're frantically trying to get it linked to their account. And so this is very, very common. There's lots of problems. We have a special within the Canadian Bar Association. We have a special liaison person, Tamara, who is fantastic, who has been doing her very best to collect problems that our members are experiencing, relay them to immigration. And this is a pervasive issue that even affects the officers at times where they can't even get into their own system. Okay, Football Total has a student visa, applied for postgrad. Can I travel outside Canada and go back even though my postgrad is not approved yet? Do I need to apply for a new visa once I get the postgrad work permit? The answer, one, is I never ever encourage people to leave until they actually have the postgrad work permit in hand. If the visa has expired, in other words, the visa that's imprinted in your passport, then absolutely you need a new visa depending upon the country that you're coming from. I'm assuming because you had a student visa, and I'm assuming it wasn't a student permit. Well, of course you had a student permit, but if you came from a country that required a visa, you need to go and apply for a new one if you're leaving and re-entering. There are cases where if the existing student visa is still valid, that you can leave and re-enter. It's an entry visa itself, but you never want to leave without having that postgrad work permit in hand. And in all honesty, I probably ring the bell and direct you to head over to the firm and book a consult, because if you are looking to make a decision, just click over here, speak to a lawyer, and the link's below here. So I highly recommend that you book a consult. We can talk about it because there's a number of things at play, and I'll never ever tell you to leave. I'll never ever provide that specific advice because that's legal advice. And so anything that relates to you and affects what you're doing with your life, I'm happy to answer general questions, but that's one that, yeah, I can't confirm and say, yeah, you can travel. I will not do that. So book a consult. Okay. Is there a webpage showing which FSW applications are now being processed? No, there isn't. Good question, Nurali. When will FSW happen again? I think probably in the new year. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. IFTech. Hello, IFTech. Good to see you. Thanks for connecting in. Okay. Proof of funds question. Do I need, and let's see how we're doing for audio here. Make sure it's loud enough so you guys can all hear me. Do I need to disclose all bank accounts? I'm saving up to the required funds in Bank A, which I plan only using in FSW and Bank. I have some credit card issues, some credit card dues. Issue if not all accounts disclosed. Yeah, you have to disclose those, IFTech. If you go back here, and you know how I answer these questions, you guys. I go back to the IRCC. We'll go back to the completeness check. I'll pull this up, and then we'll go here and we'll go to funds. Wow, I've done this so many times over the years. You can see right here, it says you need to provide official letter from one or more financial institutions that list all current bank and investment accounts. So simple as that. And you can see down here, such as credit and debit and loans. Okay. So current balance and all those other things, but you can see it states it right there, which are the instructions that the officers follow. There's been some interesting case law, you guys, and we are going to do a special episode on the refusals and the challenges to refusal and where you can fight it. I had a consultation with someone that matched up directly with the Thompson decision, but for whatever reason, they we were under an extremely tight timeline, and they just weren't able to afford the fees to proceed forward. Ironically, though, they never responded back even for the reconsideration request, which is something that's really important. So we'll see what happens anyways. Okay, moving forward. Yes, Sahib, the question of the day, will there be another draw today? So let's just take a peek and just see. This is what's always fun. IRCC, round of invitations, EE, that should get me where I need to go. Express entry, open it up. Dun, 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 dun. And you can see here, October the 13th, nothing yet. Today's the 27th. Will there be another provincial nominee program draw? Or will there be a Canadian experience class? Or will they do an open one? All of those, that's the $1 million question. All right. Thanks, Rahab. Okay. All right. Lori says, is it okay to have medical done before it's requested from IRCC, or is it better to wait until they send out the request? So, do you know what? If you can time it and the physician is willing to do it, then especially if it's for express entry, even though at times they're saying now you don't need to provide potentially that medical, I always include it regardless. I do. If there's a medical panel physicians that say, well, I'm not going to do it unless I have the 1015, the IMM 1015 form, the medical request form, well, then you have to work around that. But if I can guess, right? And here's the context. Okay, Lori, the context is I know my current medical's expired. I'm an FSW waiting for that magical passport request from IRCC. They're likely, I know as an overseas candidate, going to ask me to redo my medical. So if I see other people, and this is what you factor in, if I see other people that are starting to get passport requests from my country, then maybe I can start to anticipate, maybe they will request a medical from me. And if that's the case and you can get it, then I will do it, because if you can get it in advance, it cuts down that time and might save you 30 days or longer that it takes to process the medical, get the results back to IRCC, and then have them send the passport request. Whereas if they go in there and they say, okay, I've got to send this out to this person to get a new medical, I'm going to send the medical request letter. Oh, wait a minute. What is here? Oh, looks like they've updated their medical. All right, well, I can just send the passport request. So that's how I approach it. Okay, what does PR portals mean? It means my file has been approved? Don't understand that one, Neil. PR portal is just this place where the applications are filed. So, okay. Outlanders, yep, late 2019, early 2020. If you go back to, once again, the source of all goodness, which now is the YouTube channel, you will see here, if I flip over this one here, this breaking news, this was all about an FSW Outlander. He was in US, his spouse was in India, but they got their passport requests. And so when did they submit it? They submitted it December 2019. So there you go. Late 2019, Marcus, that you would fit under that category. So in some countries, things are moving forward. Okay. Ahmed says overstaying can impact PR application. I'm going to ring the bell. Okay. And I'm going to tell you to slide over here and go right to our site and book a consult so that we can talk about this in detail, Ahmed. Can an overstay impact a PR application? It depends. Where did that overstay take place? If you have an overstay in another country and that's the extent of your immigration violation, then potentially, because I don't have all the facts here, potentially those overstays may not impact on the permanent resident application. Igor, who works within my office, was an overstay in the US because his visa application was handled by a crappy immigration attorney in California, and him and his wife fell out of status. And we went through express entry. It was a fight, yes, but we were successful. And so can it impact? Yes, it can impact. Will it result in your PR application getting refused? Well, that depends on who's representing you. That depends upon how big of a fight you've got going on. And that goes, it also comes down to whether or not the officer adjudicating the application actually understands that law. Because as an immigration lawyer, my job is to identify areas where if they're not following the law, I fight it. I challenge it. That's what we do. Okay. Video therapy. I do not believe personally that there's going to be a big open for international students again anytime soon. Anything can happen. Maybe Minister Fraser does this big splash and this big announcement. That's possible. But ultimately, I don't see for international students. Now, with that being said, if I flip back, you can see now, guys, that I'm starting to do more videos. The one that I did just recently, yes, was on the Minister Fraser. Those of you who were going to watch the Afghan crisis, it's now posted here. Unfortunately, for that video, it crashed. My system crashed, which was really frustrating, and I don't know why, but it did. So you can see your tier-to-peer pathway may expand, says Minister. Well, the reality is that tier-to-peer pathway was very, very narrow in what they were talking about in terms of expansion. Will it extend out to international students? Personally, I don't think so. Anything can happen, but I don't think so. Okay, Stepan education. So yes, for a long, long time, they have been delaying them, but now we're starting to see things move forward. All right. And that was basically is IRCC delaying those applications whose spouse is outside Canada. All right. Next question. Sahib says, okay. Sahib says, I'm not quite sure what the $5,000 means. I think maybe Sahib is trying to create a fake super chat, maybe. Regardless, my friend, I will answer your question. I applied in the tier-to-PR at 11 p.m. Eastern. When can I expect AOR? May 6th, international grad. My friend, there are sites out there, and I probably should maybe promote them because some of them are pretty good, that try to track what's happening. There's a whole host of issues, why people receive their AOR sooner than others, delays, dependence overseas, all those things all play a role in the TR-to-PR. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is quite late. So you can imagine that the vast majority of those 40,000 international grads were all pretty much in by that time. So you've got a ton of people ahead of you, even applying on May 6th. So you're in the queue and it is a waiting game. And I would expect that you should be getting that acknowledgement of receipt. Yeah, it's definitely a long time, but it has drug on just for the simple reason that the officers, for all those things that I've talked about before, they're not refusing in a cruel way like they are for express entry. So because of that, it's taking longer for them to work through the applications. All right, let's see. Okay, Masa, I'm going to ring the bell here because there's a number of factors at play, and this isn't a simple, straightforward answer. But the question is, if I'm authorized to work in Canada, but work remotely while I'm on a trip outside of Canada, do these hours still get counted towards CEC work experience? So the key here is that, well, let's take a look from a different standpoint. People that go on vacation, and it's a paid vacation, and it's a short paid vacation, can still count that time period towards their CEC. But I don't have enough information here to answer how long you're outside of the country. How long did you work remotely? Generally speaking, if you're outside of the country, you can't count that experience toward work experience, Canadian work experience. You need to be physically present. And that's something that came up all through last year, through the pandemic, with people working remotely. And I've had candidates, applicants who've received ITAs, not understanding that they can't count that work experience, and individuals who ultimately got their applications rejected because they weren't in Canada. And that's why it's so important for you guys not to leave, if at all possible, until your PR application is approved, or you know that you're not anywhere near qualifying for PR, and then you're just on your valid work permit or study permit, and you've got valid visas, then you can travel in those circumstances. But Like I said, I highly advise people to exercise significant caution. Okay, what does PR portal mean? Okay, let's see. See here, we've got some duplication. I'm just trying to find the ones here. Okay, Amy says, and this is a classic question for my courses. So this is why I created my course. I'm just going to pull this up here so you guys can see this as well. This is why I created the Canadian Immigration Institute, you guys. That's why I created all the courses. That's why the TR to PR pathway is here. That's why the Express Entry course is here. And so you can click on the links to access those. But Amy says, one of my previous employers shut down after COVID-19. Will this affect my eligibility? How is work experience verified? In every situation, the onus is on you to prove everything. Immigration doesn't care. Whatever horrific things have happened to you, whatever, force majeure, whatever act of God, whatever it might be that caused you to not get a document. For example, your school burns down, your employer closes operations. Well, in your case, will it affect eligibility? Well, your obligation is to be able to prove it. In the course, I've got little tools and checklists that are full of ideas on how to prove work experience, notwithstanding the fact you can't get a complete perfected reference letter. In your case, if you still have contact with that employer, even if they shut down after COVID, they can provide a letter that attests to all of the same things. That's the starting point that I would put in there. And then, of course, if you're outland, anything else that you can prove. Did you pay taxes in your country? Did you have pay slips? Did you have a job offer? All of those things that stipulate the information that you need to prove, all of those things are factors that I put in there. Okay. Okay. Ace me here. Sir, I started the immigration process since 2019, just received, it was completed in August of 2021, but we still haven't received any messages. Why? Because they're waiting to finalize. I'm assuming you're outside of Canada probably. And the passport requests and things like that are being issued in a very methodical, slow process in accordance with the volume that the visa offices can be handling. I see, though, that processing is happening all over the world. Because of the global case management system and that global network, they can process applications literally in anywhere in the world. And I've seen spousal sponsorships for clients in the US who are looking to return to Canada. I've seen their applications being sent down to Manila to process. And so that's what we're seeing now, is this distribution of files evenly throughout the network to try to deal with the processing times where they can leverage everything that they've got. Ralph, good to see you. Big round of applause for Ralph, my good friend. I'm actually going to turn the mic down. It's probably a little bit loud now that I think about it. So Ralph, good to see you. Thanks for joining in. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Bella, Kai, and little Jaden Markansky up in Calgary tomorrow, on Saturday. So I'm counting the days down, my friend. If you want to learn more about Ralph and his story and his family, just search YouTube for Bella. And I think that should come up, actually, if you search for it. I did videos in the past, and they had a really, really interesting story. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Huh. Wow, I've got a lot of videos, guys, don't I? Yes, I do. And I think when I try to search Ralph, it's pulling up your name and all the comments that you've always posted. All right. Ahmed says, is it mandatory for applicants to register on the job bank? Nope, not at all. Let's see here. Yep. File log 29th of December, still no result. Very, very common. Okay, Cass says, I have shares in one international company, and the value of my shares, while it covers the proof of funds requirement, can I use it as proof of funds? Let's go back and take a look once again at proof of funds. So you can see here that the funds themselves, what they're looking for is that you can show liquid funds that are readily usable, and when it comes to investments, so you can see they want to see, should provide official letters from one or more financial institutions that list all current bank and investment accounts, as well as outstanding debts. Credit card loans must be printed on letterhead, financial institution, and you can see your accounts. One of the things it doesn't talk about here is whether or not you can use that in an investment account. So this comes from my experience and the emails that I've sent them seeking clarification. The biggest issue with that, and I would say that you would need to actually cash that out and create it as liquid funds, is because stock in company or shares fluctuates up and down, and immigration wants to know exactly how much money you have. So in that case, I would never, ever include that as your proof of fund requirement. The funds always need to be pulled out. There are some fixed deposit savings accounts where the funds are locked in, where the amounts don't fluctuate, and where you can show that there's no penalty for taking the funds out. Sometimes you can use that. But yeah, share values, I would never use that. I would always, and it could work for maybe 5 out of 10 officers to use that CAS. But the reality is I just don't trust them. And I've seen enough situations where they have, where they've refused applications because individuals have not given them exactly what they wanted. Okay, Navneet says, got a 1-year master's degree. Equivalency through ICES is this will be considered as a master's degree in CRS score. ICES is as far as I know, it is a designated educational credential agency. And so if they equated that 1 year as a Canadian 1 year for masters, that 1 year masters as a master's for Canada, then you can rely upon that if what you mean by the ICES is indeed the educational credential agency that I think it is. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, lots of people, Sheila. And Sheila is watching on the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. So thanks for tuning in, Sheila. The answer is very short, the fall. So they've repeatedly stated that they are going to look at implementing it in the fall of next year. So we're talking almost a year from now. So that's why I haven't done any talking about it, for the simple reason that it's not going to be coming into effect for over a year. Okay, Jagdish says, hey, Mark, my agent sent my file, TR to PR, international grad, 12:39 Toronto time. Still, we didn't get AOR. Is this normal? I'm worried like anything wrong with my file. Should I need to do anything? I ring the bell because I have no clue, my friend. And the best thing you can do is to book a consult so we can look at it and talk about it. Do you have control over your file? You should. Have they linked? They don't have an AOR, so I'm assuming it hasn't been linked to the representative portal. Did you create your email, or did that agent create it without full review on your part? Let's put it that way, and just toss something in quick. There could be all kinds of issues. Do they control the email address, or do you control the email address? Are they not telling you something? So that's why I recommend you book a consultation, Jagdish, and let's take a look and talk about this in detail. For you to submit 12:39, 39 minutes, if that is Toronto time on the opening day, then I would have expected that you would have received something by now. And so, not all reps are created equal. Maybe yours is awesome. Maybe there's just some, delays internally, but I recommend you book a consult and we can look at that. Okay, let's see here. I'm looking for the cues. Okay. I'm looking for the cues. Okay, Viraj says, I've applied for TR to PR, IG stream. I live in Ottawa. Could I work in Quebec while waiting for AOR? I recommend against it. So at the end of the day, even with TR to PR pathway, you must demonstrate an intention to live outside the province of Quebec. And so I avoid Quebec at all costs. That's my safe route that I take. I never advise people to do that. Could you go work in Quebec and make it work? Possibly, you could convince them. But at the end of the day, I know you live in Ottawa, and that might be sufficient, and that might be good enough. But I just don't want to give an officer any room to doubt. Are you truly commuting each day? Are you staying there and have 2 residences? Those are the things that become difficult. And once again, click on the triangle. And I want to let you guys know, when you come to our site and you go to speak to a lawyer, and you go down here, you will see that there is, like Alicia, who's joining me tomorrow. She is super smart. She's smarter than I am. And you guys would be extremely well serviced, whether you booked with Alicia, who's been a practicing immigration lawyer for almost 20 years, Susan, who is right up there as well, or myself. And you can see I have put myself at the bottom of that list because you guys don't believe that they are just as good as I am. Believe it, it's true. So, all right, let's see here. Yep. So this is a good one. I'm glad you're obviously following Elodie. She says, I'm among people with May 2021 or waiting for MEP and biometric, and the biometric instruction letter. Some during the same month of May have received theirs. What explains this? Do you know what? The inner workings of this process are a mystery to many of us. Ultimately, May was a long month, and you guys know that depending upon the time in which you filed that application, almost 40,000, and realistically, all of them were for international grad stream, were all submitted on day one. So there's that many applications that they're working through. So it's not surprising that there's a variation in when AORs are being sent out. So yeah, that is not uncommon at all. Okay, once again, you guys are asking a lot of questions that I'm just ringing the bell and telling you to flip over here and book a consult. So understand, if the agent says that the TR to PR is on hold, would you know why and how long it will take? AOR August the 12th, there are likely issues with your application if it's on hold. They're looking into something. There's some incompleteness. There's some procedural fairness letter that you're probably going to get. Often if they say it's on hold versus, oh, it's just in the regular queue, on hold is code for something more serious. And I would definitely encourage you to book a consult so that we can talk about this in detail. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, this is a good question. So Sashin says, if the biometrics collection center does not collect the photograph or fingerprints properly, will the PR application get refused? No, it will not get refused. That is not your fault. And if there's a problem with it, after 3 attempts, the brightness shows X. Since biometrics done last 8 months, no update, I'm very concerned. Photograph after 3 attempts, the brightness shows X. Well, ultimately that photo was not done properly. And in your situation, your application, you don't need to be concerned about your application being rejected. This is an issue with the people who are taking taking the photo. What are my thoughts on the PR portal? Does it work properly? Do I have any kind of a noise that is like, I don't have a boo noise. I wish I had a boo noise. I would play it right now. The portals are a disaster. That's the only way I can indicate it. Those who are able to get through usually have to be creative in how you answer the questions to get things to close, to get things to submit properly. I think the portals themselves, obviously these are the first iterations. It's kind of like 1.0, right? But the problem is, 1.1 and 1.2 or 2.0, whatever the versions are not coming fast enough to correct the problems. So no, I don't like them at all. I don't like them at all. Okay, I'll go back to you, Neil. This still makes no sense. What does PR portal means? PR portal is the actual system that you're filing through. Does it mean my file has been approved? I've never heard of anything by that name, PR portal, meaning anything other than the actual portal in which you submit your application. So does it mean my file has been approved? The only answer I can give you is no, because those two things just don't connect. Let's see here. And so Nabaz and other individuals that are asking, how do I immigrate? Always I ring the bell and flip you guys over here, tell you to come here, book a consult with Alicia, Susan, or myself, and we can explore the options for you. Okay, same thing, processing times for overseas. You guys can always go here, and it's really not easy, right? So you go here and you can see, and we've talked about this before, due to the impacts, they can't process applications normally or give accurate processing times for most applications. So you have to take everything that you see here with a grain of salt, as we say in Canada. So you go down here and then you go economic immigration, and then you choose Well, if it's express entry, you can go with that, which is basically the economic program. So it's going to be the federal, the skilled trades, or the Canadian experience class. So if we're outside, it's federal. And then it says, I haven't applied yet. I already applied. So if you've already applied, then you get the processing times. And you can see what comes up. They're still saying 6 months, which is clearly not accurate. So this is one where they can't give an accurate processing time. So it's really, it's really uncertain. And let's just see here. That was for JAMA processing times. I think I clicked on the other one here. Okay. Anyone, Javan Johnson, I'm not sure where your question was. I didn't see it. Okay, let's just see here, but I can probably find it for you because I've got a new search feature. So let's see if we can find this one here. Let's see if we got your question. Oh, you asked it right at the beginning here. Okay, I need your advice on something. I have a degree and diploma from Jamaica. Should I wait for FSW or opt for a study route? I'm 25 years old with knock 111. I ring the bell, Javon. I would need a whole lot more information to be able to advise you on what option to go. And, you know, when it comes to express entry, you have to go through, you have to look at work experience. You have to look at your language test results. You have to see how close you are to actually getting an ITA. And all of that assessment really takes place in the consultation. And that's why we do what we do. And in those consults, you guys, in 25 minutes, we can get through a ton of information because we request your information up front. We review it. So when we're on that call, that's 25 minutes of solid advice, legal advice and direction. It's not just us sitting, okay, we'll get back to you with an answer. All right. So there you go, Javon. You're welcome. Okay. Let's now scroll down and see if we can find some other questions here. And as you can see, guys, we're just not going to be able to get to everybody's question today, although I will do my best to try to do so. Okay, let's see who is next here. Okay, let's see. I've got to make sure that I'm not missing anything here because they've got a couple people who are putting in super chats. So let's just make sure that I don't miss them. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Varun, we'll get to you. So any idea if you will focus to clear backlog soon? I think their entire goal right now, and he's referring to our new minister, Sean Fraser. So the minister, in terms of whether or not they will focus to clear backlogs, will Minister Fraser do that? I can tell you that right now, that is a primary goal of immigration, is to try to get through that. So I think the clear answer is yes. Okay, and then Shafqat Khan says, I paid for my biometrics fee while applying for PR, but I already did in 2019 for my work permit. I am CC applicant, and would it be credited back? So it depends, okay? With the biometrics, we have seen people from inside Canada receive credit for previously done biometrics, okay? Because of the gong show that's happening. And let me explain, this is how it works, okay? Sometimes things will happen on your file that an officer will miss. They'll ask you for something that you've already done. And you have two choices. You can go and just redo whatever they've asked you to do, or you can try to tell them, hey, I already did this. It's already in the application. Sometimes that second follow-up that you send saying, hey, I don't need to provide this. You shouldn't be asking me for this because I already have it on the file. Sometimes that information doesn't always get to relayed to that officer. And in a worst case scenario, because of the horrible communication that is existing right now with IRCC, sometimes officers will then refuse the application because you didn't respond. So because of that, and because I don't trust them, and I want to do everything in my power to make sure that the officer virtually has no discretion other than to approve, because I've given them everything that they've asked for. Even if they ask for something that I've already given them, sometimes very often I will just give it to them again. Just so that I can cut down the back and forth with them saying, no, I don't have it. What do you mean? I don't have it on the file. And I say, yes, you do. I just cut through all of that, and there might be a little bit more expense, but in the long run, it saves time. And that's what I'm shooting for. All right. Okay. We've got about 4 minutes left here. let's get to some more questions. And remember, put that Q in front of your question. Okay, guys? Let's see. We'll scroll down here to all of these questions. Nothing for Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Okay, that works. You guys are hilarious. And that's why I don't pull up comments that don't have a Q in front of them. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that I'm in the right spot. Okay. I love it when you guys communicate back and forth. There's so many comments here where you guys are communicating back and forth. All right, let's see here. Sometimes it's hard to get back to where I was at. Just about there. Okay. Okay. So Tanya says, can we expect FSW Outland file with AOR January 2020 to be processed till February or March 2022? Absolutely. Yes, I can. That's exactly a reasonable time period for sure. Doing good, Mr. Smash. Doing good. Okay. Param says, AOR February 2020, Visa Office. Okay, New Delhi, eligibility under review. Everything is legit, but do not know why eligibility is under review. We even disclose visitor visa refusal. Everything about that. What are our options? Now MPNP nominated us. Param, once again, this is something that you would need to book a consult for us to dive into deeper. There's so many factors at play here that it's just not possible to address it adequately in a comment on a YouTube. Okay. Okay, we talked about the knock codes already. I've answered this one. I don't think there's going to be any more TR to PR for international grads. Okay. The Nishant, they are starting to move. So there is applications that are starting to move for FSW in India. Okay, let's see what else here. Okay, so Tanya says, is it that only Outlander PNP candidates getting passport requests, but there's no such news for FSW candidates? That's a good question, Tanya. My client that qualified from the US, I do not believe that they were, well, I know they weren't PNP candidates. So, so I guess the short answer is no. Okay, let's see what else we have here. And we've got 1 more minute, so we will just turn on this one. Nope. Let's try. Oh, I don't have it here. Let's just try this one right here. There, we'll keep it down nice and low and quiet. Keep it low. There we go. Okay, so we'll finish up with a couple last minute questions here. Let's see. Okay, Rof, let's see. Akhtar. Okay, so Rof, this is a great question that came up in one of my EE lives. Okay, so can you claim work experience for CEC while working full-time on a work permit and studying full-time on a study permit? Initially, I thought there would be a room to argue this, and there may very well be. There may be room to argue this, but the actual regulatory provision specifically states while studying full-time. It doesn't say anything about whether or not you have a work permit or a study permit or what your authorizations are. It says that you can't claim work experience for CEC while studying full-time. So the only way I can interpret that at this stage, until I get the right facts and I want to take a run at it and challenge if an officer refuses, is that no, if you are studying full-time, that you can't claim experience even while you're on a post-grad work permit if you then subsequently went back and got another study permit. So that's the only way that I can approach it from a safe standpoint. But I can tell you that if things go south, you submit an application, I think there's a real good grounds to challenge that and to go to federal court and see if a judge would agree. So there you go. Okay, and we've got other people asking about their delayed applications. Yes, it's taking a long time. Proposal open work permit in March. Still, it is under processing. I'm going to click that and end with that. This is something, March 2020 is a long time ago. There's got to be more to this. Things have been definitely backlogged up there. So I recommend right here, and a quiet little bell in the background, that you book a consult. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining in today. It was another great Express Entry, Canadian immigration, spousal sponsorship, work permit. What else did we cover? Q&A today on Canadian immigration. I am your host, Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher. And I want to wish you guys all the best as you navigate this crazy world that we call Canadian immigration.